Suppose I'm standing two meters away from a snowblower. The sound level of a snowblower is about 100 decibels. Okay. Our ultimate question is to say, well, how loud what would be the sound level of 10 snowblowers all working together, and I'm still standing 2 meters away? So our first goal is to figure out, okay, here's the sound level. I need to find the actual intensity of one snowblower, the watts per meter squared. So to do that, I can say this equals 10 decibels times the base 10 log of the intensity of one snowblower over the threshold of hearing, okay, which is 10 to the negative 12 watts. Okay, and so this equals 100 decibels. So I can cancel that out and cancel that out for 10. And so I've gotten rid of my units, and that's good because this is unitless. And so I have log base 10 of I1 over I0 equals 10. Okay, so I can raise everything to the power of 10, which will invert this log, giving me I1 equals I0 10 to the 10. Okay, so 10 to the 10 over here, 10 to this just gives me I1 over I0, and then I just multiply the I0 up. Okay, so this is now the intensity in terms of the threshold of hearing. Now that's got a value. That is 10 to the 12 watts per meter squared, and I'm multiplying by 10 to the 10. Okay, and when you're multiplying powers with a like base value here, you just add the powers together. And so this is going to be equal to, oh sorry, this is 10 to the negative 12. Apologize, it's really small. And so we add the values together, and that's going to get 10 minus 12 is 10 to the negative 2. So this is 10 to the negative 2 watts per meter squared. So I found the intensity of 1. So with that, now that I have the actual watts per meter squared, the intensity, I can say, what is I10? Well, because I'm not changing how it's being measured, I'm still 2 meters away, and I'm just changing how many sources there are. I've multiplied the source by 10. That means the intensity is just 10 times greater. So this is going to be equal to 10 times I1. Okay? Again, because it's a property, because I've changed the source, and it scales along with that source. Okay, so with that, this means that I have 10 times 10 to the negative 2, which is just 10 to the negative 1. And I'm going to leave it in these powers. That's just 0.1. Okay, also watts per meter squared. Okay, but I'm going to reference this one. It's a little bit easier. So now I want to find what's the sound level of 10 of these snowblowers. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my equation. I'm going to say, okay, beta 10 is going to be equal to 10 decibels times log base 10 of I10 over I0, or this threshold of hearing. Okay, so that is equal to 10 decibels times log base 10 of 10 to the negative 1 over 10 to the negative 12, which gives me 1 over 10 to the negative 11. Okay, because I could, that's the same thing as when you divide, you just subtract, or you subtract the exponents. Okay, so that's going to be 1 over 10 to the negative 11, which is the same thing as log base 10 of 10 to the positive 11. Okay, so it was 1 over 10 to the negative 11, which is the same thing as 10 to the 11. Okay, and then this is just saying 10 to the what equals 10 to the 11. Well, 11. So this is equal now to 10 decibels times 11, which gives me 110 decibels. Okay, so 10 snowblowers have a sound level, that's 110 decibels, whereas one snowblower had a sound level of 100 decibels. Okay, now it's something that I chose these numbers specifically because a change by a factor of 10 of the intensity, which means if you multiply the things making the sound by 10, it changes the sound level by just adding 10. Okay, so this is multiplied by 10. This is just adding 10. Okay, so that is how our ears perceive loudness. The intensity grows quite strong, but how we perceive it doesn't go quite as strong. Still, this is pretty darn loud, and you need to be careful when this gets up to very strong levels. There's a sound level called the threshold of pain, which is about 130 decibels, and that's where damage to ears can happen very readily, although damage can happen at lower decibels if they're sustained for long enough. But 130 decibels is the threshold of pain. And some things that we regularly interact with, power tools, rock concerts, things like that, can easily get to that value. We need to be careful with how long our ears are exposed to that because it can do damage.